Let's begin.
It's October 22nd, 2021. You know what that means. It is day 22 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 10. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Before I get started with today's video, which is Night of the Living Dead Reanimation in 3D. I watched this movie with the old school red and blue 3D glasses. But before I get telling you how that went, I need you to click subscribe, hit the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, and share this video because it helps me get my channel and videos out there to a much broader audience. And there's a bunch of us doing it as well. 13th Wolfman, I Am the Ice Lord, Trash Film Addict, Curly Girl at the Movies, Retro Horror, Random Horror, Dave Maggot, Double Shot J, Carly 317. We're all doing it this year. One of us has something that's more your taste. I'm doing a little bit more stuff that people have seen. 13th Wolfman does Italian Sundays. I'm That Sword has a little bit more of an edge to his videos. But just go out and watch them and show them some love by hitting the like and subscribe buttons and leaving a like and share. Like I mentioned, just doing all that helps me get my channels out to a much broader audience and helps them get their channel and videos out to a much broader audience as well. So, like I mentioned about a minute ago, the Night of the Living Dead Reanimation in 3D. I watched this movie for about 25 minutes before my head felt like I should just cut it off. That's how bad I felt after watching this movie. The first 25 minutes in 3D. I don't know if it was just from the lack of sleep or lack of food or just the 3D effects themselves. I just couldn't handle it. So I switched to back to the 2D version. But within the first 25 minutes, you kind of get a good feel of what the 3D was going to be like throughout the entire movie. The movie starts with stars Jeffrey Combs and Andrew Divoff. I'm probably mispronouncing his name, but they were good in the movie. They had a scene where they were just kind of talking back and forth. They're probably the best actors in this movie, but overall, it was okay. When the final credit rolled, I thought this movie was okay. It centers around a funeral parlor that has some shady practices going on and some shady back dealing to make some money and everything. Which happens quite a bit in this month. A lot of people are just being very shady about a lot of things. Like back in the first couple days, Killer Crocodile. You know, like you let me dump some toxic waste in your swamp. You know, but just. It was an okay movie. It really was. I wished it was a little bit more. I really like the setting of the movie, which the funeral parlor or the funeral home, and just there's kind of like a running joke in the movies, like don't go in the oven room where they do the cremation and everything, or it's like it's down. Just various excuses when they finally do go in there. It's just filled with dead bodies, and he just kind of sits there and waits. And waits, and then it was like, oh, one gets up, he goes over and kills it, and then it's like, I'm done for the day. You know, it was okay. It was really just okay, honestly. The 3D effects was pretty cool. Like for the first 25 minutes of the movie, you know, people kind of sitting there smoking. Like the smoke actually looks like it was kind of trailing off into your room. The 3D title effects was pretty cool. The depth perception was pretty nice and everything. But it's just the movie itself was just okay. I mean, I really wished it had did more. It did drag on in a lot of places. They try to be kind of edgy with like this drug sequence and everything, and it's just like a dead body that they were preparing just gets up and starts smoking weed with them, and it's like, what? You know, it's like, what is going on in this movie? And I really hate the fact that this movie is using the Night of the Living Dead title. I know that someone owns that title, or it's in public domain, or I think Night of the Dead is like trademarked or something like that. I do believe that's something along the lines of that, I think. But it was an okay movie. It really was. So I'm going to jump right into... There was really no scenes of note, to be honest with you. Like, I'm usually, like, the way my reviews is, I usually kind of pick out a scene I like to talk about, but there was really no scene in this movie that like, really, like, was worth really, like, this is the scene that you need to watch in this movie. Like, there really wasn't a scene in this movie. So that's why I'm like, it's just okay. Like, oh man, it's just like, it was, like, when it was finally over, I'm like, it's done. Like, okay. I'm like, I'm probably never going to watch this movie again. And I realized this is the second time I've watched it and not even realized it. So, because I watched it like on Netflix one time, and I'm like, oh, it's because I had Jeffrey Combs in it, and I'm like, oh, it's a zombie movie, and it's centered on a funeral home. I'm like, oh, and I forgot I watched it until I'm like, oh, I've seen this movie, and now I know why I didn't watch it again second time. The 3D element got me to watch it the second time. So that is all I have to say about this movie. I'm going to get into my rating scale. 1 being run-of-the-mill horror, 2 best watch with a group, 3 more than average horror but adds nothing new to the horror genre, 4 helps move the horror genre forward, and 5 being a horror classic. Night of the Living Dead Reanimation is a 1. It is definitely a run-of-the-mill horror. Just like there's no scenes of note. The gore is okay. The acting's actually more than average for these type of movies, but just other than that, you can skip it. So that is all. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and all I can really say is thank you.